Alright, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today is very tired, sleepy, but we're just gonna give it a bit of a small walk, and then we'll get to running soon. But go drink some water and stuff. Alright, and we're gonna be using different type of shoes. Different type of shoes. Alright, I guess it's time to start running, man. I don't know why I stopped, but I stopped like after 6 minutes. Maybe I've lost the, you know, motivation. No, not motivation, but I'm gonna go at speed 10. I'm actually gonna go slower than yesterday. Yeah, so I'm gonna go speed 10. Okay, I'm gonna go back to 11. But for some reason, 11 seems like it's very, very tough. But my body seems like it's winning against my mind today. My mind's pretty empty right now. So my body's kind of winning. I don't know why I stopped again. I think it's my body winning over the mind today. Like, I shouldn't be stopping. But we've stopped twice now. Just for what? Just so I could breathe or stand and do nothing? Perhaps it's because my brain's actually not even functioning right now. But running at 11 speed compared to 10 speed is very different. That's the third time I stopped. I'm cheating. I don't know. I'm sorry about today. Why am I taking 3 breaks? That's not good. 3 breaks. We ran 0.8, 1.1, 1.6, and now we have 2.4 to go. But we're taking lots of breaks. This is the third break, but I don't know. Just, do I really have an excuse? Uh, Failure. No, something's actually wrong with me. I keep going back to normal. I should just be running the whole thing. I'm taking breaks for no reason. My mind is not strong today at all. My body seems to be winning over my mind, and I'm actually really disappointed in myself. That was the most pathetic run of the career. That was the most pathetic run of the career. We literally took like four to five breaks, but in total, we still ran, as you can see, 6.14 minus that, and then 2.44, which we finished that off with. But again, though, like very, very disappointed in myself. Very disappointed in myself. We took far too many breaks for it to even be worth anything. Now, why did I take breaks? My mind was weak. Mind was weak. That is actually really bad of me. I'm sorry, but such terrible performance by me. I think that's a personal. Well, yesterday we took a break, but yesterday was because of a stomach issue. Today, there's no excuse. There's no excuse except trying to be comfortable. That's what's up. Tried to be too comfortable. So I stopped and took like four breaks. And I even walked a tiny bit. It's just absolute shame on myself for that terrible performance. Should just be one straight line ahead. Go. Should just be one entire session, not multiple breaks. I'm gonna sleep extra early today. I have to. And also, but I am eating 2,600 calories. That is one thing I'm getting used to. This time there was no stomach issue. Really? The only issue was my mind was like not working. Shame. Honestly, just shame. Today's not a good day, is it? It's not. And the thing is about yesterday is that I haven't even edited the video. So now, not only am I delayed in today's regime because we are like nearly 20 minutes behind regime schedule, which is alright. I could deal with that because I'm changing things up a bit. But at the same time, there is so much footage to do today and tomorrow. Well, so I'm like two videos. I'm like, what? That's crazy. One busy day, it kind of makes the regime quite busy, huh? It's like, because yesterday I was gone the entire day. Like, that's insane. It is what it is. I was gone for the entire day. So by the time I arrived back to HQ, I literally had zero time to sleep. And when I slept on a goddamn yoga mat. And we're gonna talk about that soon. We'll talk about that very, very soon. Just let me put these words. Oh, right, no, it's the water. Holy crap, the bench is like completely wet. That is what it is. Wow, we didn't even finish the water. That's insane. Oh, today's not a very just shut up and do the work. You know how you get through bad days that don't exist. You just do the work regardless of how you feel. You do the work regardless of how you feel. It doesn't matter what you feel. It literally doesn't matter what you feel, because you still do the work regardless, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do it regardless. You know what's really cool? Why I'm so veiny recently. Like my arm is so veiny. Dude, that bench is wet every single time. Okay. I don't know. Okay. I don't know if I'm talking right or not. I'm probably not even talking correctly. It's pretty bad right now. It's like it's okay, it's for a vlog, but just gotta do the work. It doesn't matter how I feel, even though I'm gonna have to I'm gonna change up the regime today. After this, I'm gonna no after the weights. Instead of doing calisthenics and video editing and eating, I'm probably just gonna eat straight away. I haven't done that in a long time. I used to do that like straight up after this, like after weights, I wait just straight away eat food and then do calisthenics later. But right now, I might change the regime just for today because today is just terrible. The water's done. I'm not even gonna change the weight. This is actually quite heavy already. Wait, what was I gonna say? All right, yeah. Uh, wow, we literally have to drop weights on this bench press right now. That's insane. We have to drop in weight. Pretty. What am I say? I don't know. I'm losing my mind today. Well, no, I was never here. The mind wasn't even here this morning. We failed the treadmill so many times, and now we're kind of slow. 2,600 calories. There's a lot of things to talk about, but right now it's just okay. So I think we can finally talk about the yeah. So basically, I'll be fully transparent. So last night we did sleep on the yoga mat for briefly three, roughly 3 hours, and then honestly, what I actually did, well, thanks to help from a person that it's pretty much they just put the sleeping bag on the bed like as a mat, and then I just slept for the remaining 2 hours on the bed. So honestly, I didn't even sleep fully on the yoga mat. I slept 60% on the yoga mat, and then the last 2 hours on the bed, which was nice. But yeah, one thing though is that we are never sleeping on the yoga mat for a while. That was terrible. I think it's because the whole day was really busy, so they just added on top. So if I ever want to go out again, probably use like an air mattress or something, because man, the difference between a yoga mat and a mattress, especially my back, it helps the back quite a lot. But also yeah, so 3 hours on the yoga mat was probably didn't even count as sleep. So 2 hours of the bed was nice, but yeah, yoga mat wasn't really that good. Then also, I'll also admit this. Yesterday the carbs was really bad. No, not bad. The timing was even worse than the day before. The other day before, we had the carbs at like 1 o'clock, right? Or 1300 if 1300 for the smart ones. Yesterday we ate the carbs at 1500, which is 3 o'clock. It was only 274 grams, but man was it late. I already split it. In the morning I ate the meat and veggies, but yeah, I still had to. I split it, but because I really have to break that pattern of taking a break from the treadmill. It's not good for me. Yep, today's regime is very slow, like extremely slow. But now that we've now that I'm gonna be eating food straight away after the gym instead of doing an hour of calisthenics first, might be thing. I'll have to do calisthenics later. But that's okay. I'm not really looking to do any kind of arc survival today. because I've got a lot of editing to do. I literally need to edit 2 days worth. Oh, perfect. Literally didn't even have to adjust. Didn't even have to adjust anything. The bench, the incline bench was perfect, as things should be. Crap, dude, my ankle joints are like dead as well. Like I just try to get out of that, and ankles made a little. Okay, yeah. So we're gonna change up the regime. Gonna eat straight away, and then do the calisthenics later. It's not a big deal, but honestly, I might not. I might just end up. I might end up. Nah, can't. Just drink water and shut up. It's crazy to think that it's already been 1 hour since we started running. We finished the run already, but yeah, regime can wait for later. It can wait for later. I need to eat the food. We gotta eat the food. I don't even know if there's any muesli ready, but I'm ready for just a one big sloppy cement paste of muesli. I'm dying for it right now. I'm not dying for it. No, no, what I'm saying. I'm not even hungry right now. Just like, here's what it is. Just gotta continue doing the work. It's okay, because we've also got, oh no, we have pull-ups to do as well today. Again though, really, I'm gonna change it up today. So I'll do the calisthenics later. Like I said before, the regime was gym, calisthenics, edit video, and then eat, which would be like around 2+ hours before eating. But today I'm gonna swap it up. I'm gonna prioritize food first and see how that goes. Oh yeah, there was also hunting yesterday as well. Honestly, we didn't even keep. Oh, we kept the fish, right? But instead of eating it, I just put it in a salt farm for bait, I guess. It's kind of a waste, honestly, because that kawaii size was really good to eat, but just had zero. Was too lazy to prepare things, so I just dumped in the salt farm. But that was a good eating size. But so kawaii, are like just we're not worried about eating it right now, are we? As long as I killed it on camera, it's fine. Damn, what's wrong with me today? I mean, man, you know what I mean? Like, oh man. Ugh, there's nothing really to talk about besides just today's not the best. What is we'll check it later. Now I'm still thinking of if I even should eat food. I mean, I already said that I should eat before, like just for today, I should eat before the calisthenics and editing. But I don't know. I'm not really sure anymore because the reason in the previous days I did training calisthenics and then editing and then eating. The only reason I put eating on the last priority was because it felt more rewarding because I finished everything. But if I do eating now, then I have the calisthenics and editing task to do. But I will be already kind of bloated-ish because the food is quite bloaty considering that it's a lot of calories now. So doing that is gonna delay the calisthenics by at least a couple hours. And editing, I could do editing straight away after eating. So calisthenics would be putting on the fourth priority. But who knows? Maybe it's because I'm slowly waking up from the dream state. So maybe I might not even eat. Might not even eat. I am getting out of the dream state slowly. I think you guys have actually seen this before in a very earlier Earth log where it's like I'm like dead on the stairs, right? But then as time passes, my mind slowly reawakens and then start thinking a bit more professionally. Alright, what is that? And the average, I don't even know I'm saying any. I don't know what I'm saying. It's a bit of a blur today, huh? Just one of those days. Again, I'm kind of ashamed that we stopped so many times during the treadmill. Like, that was actually so shameful. Like three breaks, probably five breaks, because that walking counts as a break instead of running consistently. So yeah, absolute shameless on me. That cable thing's not even even. Oh, these cables aren't even even. And they're broken as well. Nothing here is ready. This is like the only even thing. It's just the cables aren't even. I would do the dip machine, but there's it's occupied at the moment, so slow day today. Slow day today. What can I say except it's a slow day today? There you go. These are can't even apply I can't even apply efficiency today to this. Usually I might apply an efficiency to this, but no. Oh, that right joint. Go check out. Wait. Also, today the gym's like super quiet, and also yeah, we're gonna. Of course, the regime's like behind schedule as well because, like I said, those breaks on a treadmill costed like 10 minutes probably. Shouldn't have taken those breaks, but I guess the body won over the mind today and just literally just made my mind not work and just pressed the pause button to rest for like a few minutes. Perhaps it's because we already hit the goal of running and beating a record or a personal record. What even kgs are we? Like 68 now? We're bulking. 67.7. So we bulking because this 2,600 calories is in 67.7. Yep, we are bulking because this 2,600 calories is huge. But again, it's literally just extra carbs. Nothing, nothing really has extra to it. Yeah, 2,600 calories, and then we could also drop it as well. But apparently, 2,600 calories is still like below maintenance or something. That's it. That's what it says. Honestly, I think the thing we need to really start tracking is perhaps. Nah, not really. I was gonna say sleep, but that's impossible to track. Not impossible, but annoying. Again, though, I have a suspicion that rice might be the play here. No, rice might be. I'm not exactly sure. I think I shouldn't really be blamed on rice, but Saturday was rice, Sunday was rice, and during the rice phase, just been struggling. But I don't know. I think for some reason when we ate the muesli, we eat less grams of muesli, but we have more calories. But then for the rice, it's like Yeah, gonna eat a big bowl of rice today too, just to test out that, what is it called? I think the rice. What am I saying? I don't even know what I'm saying. But I feel like I'm more of a fan of muesli and milk over rice. Rice is like a big, thick. Not really. I don't know what I'm saying. But yeah, that's just part of the game. These are my old shoes, by the way. I used to run today. Under Armour. These are old, very old. Now, how they perform in a treadmill, honestly, these shoes in a treadmill might be pretty good because I feel zero blisters. Zero blisters with these shoes on. The Adidas ones, the left had a blister, but these ones here, these shoes here, definitely like no blisters, right? But I will admit that they are kind of more heavier. Like they're not as like agile. These shoes are significantly more heavier, probably more protection. That's probably maybe why. Not really sure. I'm not too worried. But shoes are shoes, and I never really care about shoes. Unlike some people, like what is it? I don't collect shoes like some people. Or what they called? What they called? I don't. You see on you see on social media those people that like sell these like Jordans or whatever. I'm not that type. Shoes are shoe. Not my ecosystem. I think I've only like 3 shoes. Yeah, I've already got like 3 shoes. One is that Adidas you guys see me wear. This Under Armour is a very old one, but it fits and it's nowhere near deteriorated. And then another one's just these hiking shoes, which I use for like hunting. I have another shoe, but they're kind of like gone. They're like in their backyard rotting away. These black ones, and then I've also, yeah, that's really about it. Should I even try eat food? If I eat food now, like after training, then I would be like, I would say around 2 hours earlier than what I've been eating before. But then it'll give me a digestion time of 22 hours. That, or maybe 20 to 21 hours. That's the digestion time we could get if we eat it straight away. Or, yeah. And we're not following trophology. Trophology could help, like, digestion times if we split the meals, but, like, same time, I'm just gonna combine everything in one go and then let it digest in, like, 20 something hours. But yeah, right, we're going overtime now. Usually we're gone by now, but somehow today's just very quiet. By the way, there was actually something interesting happened yesterday. Yesterday, on the way back from no, on the way from the gym in the morning, there was like this red Volkswagen that like zoomed past me on the other lane, and then like a whole bunch of police was like chasing it and stuff, and helicopters. Not sure what happened to it. Maybe there's news about it, but there was like this red Volkswagen who like passed me on the other lane, like at like a crazy speed. I mean, the street was empty, right? But he was going like, matter of fact, I'll admit this, I was going 70. I was already breaking the speed limit myself. And then some guy, I wasn't even paying attention, but some dude or someone, I'm assuming it's a dude, right? Because, red Volkswagen zooming past the other lane. He was going like 150 plus, like way so super fast. I was like, damn. And then behind me was a police car, right? But the police car had no lights on. And for some reason, all of a sudden it turned its lights on, right? And then I signaled to the left to, give way to the police car, right? but then they tried to go towards my left, and then we almost crashed. Good job, policeman. Why would you put the siren? Why would you put the lights on right behind me? And also, it's not like he just saw the car. They've been chasing him for a while because a helicopter was already. I could hear a helicopter before I left the gym. No, I heard a helicopter before I left. No, I heard a helicopter as I entered the gym, and then I still heard more helicopters when I left the gym. And in my rearview mirror, there was like another police car from the bridge, and then on the way back to HQ, there was like multiple police cars coming from all sorts of streets and angles. So they were chasing this red Volkswagen a while ago. I wonder if there's news about it. Probably not. Who knows? Maybe I'll find it as well. Recently, since my editing's not been very insightful, when I say stuff like I'll show you guys later, I probably don't even show you guys because I don't even hear myself or remember what I said. That's my fault, but it is what it is. And my radar got punctured. Not punctured, but my radar was leaking as well from yesterday. I've got a spare one, but still. There's There's no point in going back to the mouth today, I think. Technically we could go to the mouth because I'm already doing calisthenics later. Go to the mouth, all I have to take is just a normal rod and a lure. We could go to the mouth, but what am I gonna do? Catch a bunch of car wire. But I've already caught the species though. I would, but at the same time it's like I'm really far behind schedule. Technically we could though, but okay. Oh, that's basically it for today. Sorry about the terrible performance to myself, of course. We're gonna have to do something about that. So, problem, terrible performance, solution, eat food earlier. Next solution, get some more rest properly. So, therefore, sleeping on the actual bed instead of the goddamn yoga mat. And that's really about it. Alright, appreciate it, everybody. That was a pretty bad day. No, there's no such thing as bad or feelings because we still got to do the work. Do I want to really give my word? Did I give you guys a Mr. Nightmare? Just to make this video longer because I know we're not doing anything else today. Maybe. Shit, I need to give my word. Okay, you will have a Mr. Nightmare video today. A horror story today. Alright? Alright. You have my word. If I fail, I won't. I gave my word already. Alright, an update on the gulag. I abandoned it. But now that the sheets are ready. But yeah, so I basically abandoned the gulag at like after 3 hours. But yeah, pretty much what I did was sleeping bag as a cover. So we ended up last 2 hours before we wake up again on the bed. So like 60%, like I said in the gym video, that transparency. We ended up sleeping back on the bed for like 2 hours. Right, let's go eat some food. Guys, wait, hold on. 661 grams of rice isn't even enough to hit 2,000. We're gonna eat more rice. GG. What? I thought this was enough carbs. This is not even enough carbs. We need to eat more than this. Oh my goodness. This is 600 grams. That's like a kg of rice. Alrighty ho, ladies and gentlemen, I have given my word that I'd do a Mr. Nightmare today, so here we are, we're doing a Mr. Nightmare. Not going to be live streaming it, just going to be doing a raw recording. Alright, Mr. Nightmare. I wonder what's even, like, online now these days anyways. What's even online now? Winter Stories 3. Oh, 20 minutes, perfect. Let's do it.
Meet the new Ninja Swirl by Creamy. Turn almost
Shut up.
anything into ice cream. And
Oh,
now
I don't want to read the comments yet. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's listen to this and get some context in. Alright, 3 disturbing true winter stories. I wonder what that means. Have no coffee in my system, so. Also, just saying from this morning, my legs right now are like dead. Like, I don't even know if I can run tomorrow. I'm not even kidding. Like, I don't even know if I can. Anyways, let's get to the video, shall we? 3 stories.
For the clarity of this story, I must mention that I have a hearing disability that has made me hard of hearing.
No problem.
I know that there are some things in life that I'll never understand, but I still look back on this experience wondering what could have happened and what I should have done differently. This all happened around a year ago. The holiday season had just rolled by, and I was settling down from traveling and all the get-togethers with family and friends. I live in a small suburban neighborhood that borders a forest in southern Quebec.
Southern Quebec. What is that? Southern Quebec. Where is that? Canada. Forest. Oh, yeah. Suburb. Like that? Maybe? We'll assume this is the setting. Maybe a bit more isolated. But they live in Canada. Okay. Nice forest though, not gonna lie. But it's winter. Let's get the context ready. Ah, that looks a lot better. Looks a lot better. There you go. Something like that.
It's a quiet area, as most of the residents are familiar with each other.
Yep.
Which I honestly kind of prefer, as it adds a warmer atmosphere. Around winter, I like to take my dog Monty on walks in the local forest. He's a Rottweiler Husky mix,
Damn.
which is perfect for me since I enjoy going for runs from time to time. The forest has several trails, none of which are challenging for non-hikers. I remember it being an afternoon. I had just finished having a late lunch and decided to burn the calories on a walk with Monty. As usual, my dog goes ballistic when we turn the corner on my street towards the forest entrance. It was relatively cold for a February day.
Okay, they've got a Rottweiler Husky mix. No. I mean, that's still not a bad dog, right? Those probably look like they could defend you. So smart, okay, walking with a dog companion, okay.
A fresh blanket of snow lined the paths overnight, creating this nearly blank canvas. As usual, I let my dog off the leash so he could run around. There were a few yellow patches along with some boot prints in the snow, which signaled to me that several people had already taken their dogs out earlier. Most people like to go on walks before noon since the sun tends to set around 4 p.m., so I didn't expect to see anybody out at that time. After walking for around 30 minutes, we came to a fork in the path. I noticed that one of the paths hadn't been walked yet, so feeling semi-adventurous, I decided to take it. I have a pretty concrete memory of the trails, so I knew exactly where I was going. The trail led to a clearing, which was great, since I wanted to check out the native birds with the binoculars I had gotten for Christmas. I remember scanning the surroundings until I saw a strange shape along the tree line in the distance. When I focused my binoculars, I saw a blue tarp and what looked to be a makeshift shelter. As curious as I was to check it out, it was getting dark, and I wanted to get home. Turning around, Monty and I started walking back. As usual, he ran up ahead, but something seemed off in his behavior. He was much more alert and was sniffing the trail more than he normally would from what I observed in the past. When I looked down at the trail, my eyes widened. There was a set of footprints in the snow, much larger than my own. I remember turning my boots over out of sheer confusion to compare them to the ones in the snow. the prints were different, which left me with even more questions. There were no other forks in the trail, so whoever took it had to have passed me at some point. I figured they must have passed me while I was using my binoculars.
GG, they're hiding behind a tree. You're dead. Ah, it's over. But no. You have a dog. Your dog should save you, right? You should probably have the dog on a leash just so he stays with you, because now that he's off a leash, he'll run around and probably abandon you, right? That's maybe a thing. I'm not sure. Dogs don't really abandon their owners, right? Maybe your dog will sacrifice it. But based on that, okay, let's ignore the fact that it's a bigger footprint. Let's just pretend it's a normal footprint, right? A normal human footprint. You would, if you knew that someone had to pass you, but you saw no one pass you, then obviously they're hiding behind a tree. That's my first thoughts. Oh, there's a trail behind me. Oh, someone's... But then if you saw the footprint, then you would have already passed them. GG, they're behind you then. Oh man. The moment you notice that, someone went off in the distance behind a tree, and now they're following you. But again, you have a dog, so like, I don't really see what the real problem is. I mean, dog's not really a savior, but you have a level of protection. No one really wants to mess with a dog, especially a Rottweiler / Miss Husky.
At the time, it seemed like the most logical explanation.
No.
I tried not to overthink it. At this point, it was significantly darker outside, but I could still make out my...
Let me guess. The homeless man in that blue tent is nearby, and he's gonna attack you.
Surroundings. As we were walking back, Monty stopped abruptly and started barking relentlessly in my direction.
Behind you.
As I turned around, that's when I saw him. There was a man, probably around 6'4", wearing charcoal-colored snow pants and a white camo jacket only about a meter away from me.
What? How did he get so
He
close?
didn't make any movements towards me. He just stood there with his hands in his coat pockets. I didn't recognize him from anybody in the neighborhood, so I assumed he must have been a hiker or someone from out of town. He looked like he was muttering something to me, but I couldn't read his lips due to the lack of lighting and not knowing if he was speaking English or French, which are the two commonly spoken languages in Quebec. I felt like an idiot at that moment for not bringing my phone with me.
What?
So I ended up trying to communicate with him that I was hard of hearing and that it was getting late. I got back home around 4:30. By then, it was completely dark out. I remember following...
Man, why are you messing with that context? What? What happened? What do you mean you tried to communicate with him? What happened? And then you all of a sudden back home. He followed you home? GG. I don't even know if this is a girl or guy, by the way, but if I'm assuming it's a girl, because not very smart, right? The man followed the girl home. I don't know how. I don't even know how they communicated. That is such a lame... Look at this.
4:30.
Look at the
hearing, and that it was getting late.
Look at this. Look at this.
So I ended up trying to
communicate with him.
Communicate with him that I was hard of hearing and that it was getting late.
And then somehow you're home. And then somehow you're home. What happened? So you just said communicate how?
Around
Fuck
4:30.
off.
By then, it was completely dark out.
Deserved.
I remember following my standard night routine, not really thinking much about the encounter. But in the middle of the night, something happened that still shakes me to this day.
He followed you home.
I woke up to Monty licking my hand, which is something he usually does to get me out of bed in the morning. I tapped my phone to check the time, and to my surprise, it was 3 a.m. I noticed a message from my neighbor asking if everything was all right, which, if I'm being honest, confused me at first. The message was a few minutes old and asked if everything was all right since Monty had been barking like he was possessed. I looked up from my phone to see that Monty was no longer in my room. I walked downstairs to find him barking hysterically at the patio door. As I approached the door, I struggled to see anything with my vision still blurry. I tried to focus my eyes when the motion sensor light turned on. At that moment, my heart sank. The man from the forest was standing there in my backyard. I didn't think twice to process any more questions. I stepped away from the door and texted 911. I don't think I've ever texted 911 faster than I did that night. I ran up to my room with Monty and grabbed the machete from under my bed.
Yo, hold on now.
A shorter woman with a
Okay, so you're a woman. I knew it. Okay. Again, where's the context? You communicated with him. How? How so? I tried to communicate with him, and then all of a sudden I'm back home. What? How did he... What do you mean by you tried to communicate with him, and then all of a sudden you're back at home? Fuck. Dumbass context. Like, communicate how? What'd you say? Did he even speak the same language? Did you even check behind you when you left? Like, hello? What? Where that context at, huh? What do you mean by communicate? GG. She got machete though.
in martial
And a
arts,
dog, so
but I know damn well
should be
that
fine.
the best move in a fight is to not fight at all. I sat there in my room guarding Monty and myself until the police came. With my heart beating out of my chest, I sat opposite from the door with Monty by my side. It didn't last long until Monty sprang up and started barking violently at the bedroom door. My hands were sweating profusely as I watched a shadow cast in from underneath the door.
How do you get in?
In front of the nightlight suggested the man was seconds from breaking into my room. Those had to be the longest minutes of my life.
Wait, how do you get in a
I
house?
anticipated the door handle turning or the door completely breaking in. Luckily for me, it never did. When the police arrived, I explained everything to them while they searched the property.
Huh?
The glass on the patio was smashed completely.
How did you not hear that?
Besides that, nothing was missing and everything was still relatively the same. The police found the gate in my backyard open. It leads to the forest, which is where they believe the man disappeared to. I let them know about the shelter I saw in the woods the day before. I took Monty and some of my belongings to stay with a family friend for a few days. while I
Okay,
got
smart, that's smart.
the patio door fixed.
Smart, very smart.
Never got a follow-up from the police after the incident. But ever since that day, I decided to stick to roads when walking my dog.
Maybe like, I don't think that's like the solution. Maybe be more aware to who you meet with in the middle of the woods, you know? Watch behind you. Don't communicate with strangers. Again, the lack of context in saying I communicated with them, but struggle to hear them. What did you say? And how did you not notice them following you all the way home? But, however, the woman's, to a degree, got to give her some, what is it? Some good stuff, right? She didn't stay at the house while the door was broken. That's very smart. Stayed at family for the next 3 days. Very, very smart. Had a machete under the bed. That's G. And of course, you know, you got a dog. So, good. Smart, you know? Everything a short woman needs, almost. Machete, maybe... Yeah, machete, a dog. You're all goods. Just be a bit more aware.
Trying to
No,
think
that was
too
all
much
right.
about the incident.
Still, again, just the context behind communicating is a bit suspicious.
My name is Emberlay, and I'm a 16-year-old girl who lives in Illinois with my younger sister Kate, who's 15.
Mm-hmm.
My dad works for a deforestation group about 30 minutes from our house. It was a normal morning on December 5th as my sister and I were getting ready to go out to the movies. We decided to go watch a somewhat new horror movie, Terrifier 3, which had some Christmas stuff included in it. We all knew it was 18 plus, but nobody paid much attention. Plus, we looked older than we were anyway. We made our way to the movies and easily got in thanks to our appearance. However, halfway through the film, as everyone was anticipating the next scene, my phone buzzed loudly enough for the whole theater to hear, which really killed everyone's vibe as they all turned toward me with annoyed looks. My sister and I scurried out until I tripped, which was embarrassing enough. After we exited the theater, I checked my phone to see who called me. It was my dad, but instead of calling back, I received a text message that said something like, "Hey, would you mind bringing me some lunch since the small cafe in the woods is shut today?" I looked over at Kate, and she looked at me confused,
Huh?
but neither of us second-guessed the message since it seemed normal. We arrived home, packed some food for him, and took my car downtown to the woods.
You're 16 years old. What? Okay, I don't know the laws, but 16-year-old female behind the wheel. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, there's that misogynistic? I don't give a shit. When did I get my license? Okay, well, in context, in New Zealand, I highly doubt a 16-year-old can drive their sister at 16. Not really sure. I don't even know when I got my license, but let's just pretend, sure, they can drive. Don't crash.
I've always loved that place and never felt uneasy there because it was large and secluded. The scenery was amazing. With
Wait,
and
hold on. I just don't understand this, though.
I looked over at
I don't
Kate.
understand.
Lunch since the small cafe in the woods is shut today. Like, hey, would you mind bringing me some?
I don't understand. What kind of father would do that? Hey, the cafe I get my 200-calorie bread is not open. Can you come bring me some lunch? What kind of L dad are you? Just man up, be like, okay, no food. Why would you send your own daughters to the woods to give you food? What kind of shit father are you? Unless your daughters are like tough women or something, I don't know.
Lunch.
But it's not really
Arrived
smart.
home, packed some food for him, and took my car downtown to the woods. I've always loved that place and never felt uneasy there because it was large and secluded. The scenery was amazing, with a hill that led down to a lake perfect for fishing and photos. After a while, Kate and I got out of the car and we walked down the path through the woods. I took out my phone to call my dad, but he didn't pick up. Confused, I looked over at Kate, who was just as confused as I was. Why wouldn't he respond when he just called us at the movies? I decided to message him instead, reminding him that we were at the woods to give him his lunch. After a few moments,
Where in the
I
woods?
saw the 3 little dots on the screen appear, showing he was typing. He responded by telling us to walk down the small hill and wait for him at the lake, which we followed. The sun was slowly setting since it was winter, so sunset came much earlier. The sky had a beautiful since it was winter lake, which we followed. The sun was slowly setting since it was winter, so sunset came much earlier. The sky had a beautiful radiant orange glow over the hill and down the mountain. Snapping out of my thoughts, Kate pointed down to the lake where a man in black was sitting on the deck by the water with his back to us. We guessed it was our dad. We walked down
You guessed?
a bit more and stopped a little behind him. I called out his name, but he didn't move. Kate grew uneasy, and her attitude made the scene even more eerie. I slowly pulled off the hood he was wearing and revealed a man who definitely
You went up to the man and you took his hood off. What? Huh? What? Hey, are you my father? Hey, you know what? Let's go pull the hood down and check. What? Oh my goodness.
wasn't our dad. Kate and I shrieked as he turned around and began waving my dad's phone around like a maniac, smiling like he was happy to see us scared. I blurted out asking why he was using our dad's phone, but he didn't respond. Instead, he lunged and grabbed Kate's arm as she screamed. Luckily, I was strong enough to pull her away, and we started running as fast as we could. The adrenaline pushed through us so much that I had never seen either of us run that fast. Behind me, I heard stomps getting closer, so I knew we were being chased. I didn't dare to turn around. Finally, we reached the car. I slammed the door shut and locked it as the man came to my window, then crouched down out of sight as I reversed and sped away back home. When we got home, my dad and mom were there. We arrived panting out of breath and explained the whole situation to them. My dad was furious and said his phone had been stolen while he was working, so he decided to come back home. He said the man must have taken his phone and messaged us. My dad called the police and filed the report. They used the IMEI number to track the device, which was still on the deck by the lake, and they returned the phone to my dad. They said there wasn't much they could do since the phone was already found. I thought this was the end of it, but I wouldn't be telling this if it was.
How is there no password? No password on the phone? Unless he somehow got your phone when it was unlocked and then kept it unlocked. But where was the mother the whole time? And again, why would you, get that close to pull the man's hood down? You know what I mean? And if it's like sunset, Why would your dad need lunch? And you walk through the hills and woods to give him lunch when it's sunsetting? I'm not really sure about that.
6 hours later, around 1 a.m., I got an
I can't
unknown
hear anything.
message that said,
Well, I can't hear anything. Hello?
I like that your
Oh,
house
I can't hear anything. Well, I can't hear anything. What? Alright, I'm back. Somehow the headphones like lost connection with it. I probably have to charge them or something. Anyways, let's continue it. So, the story's not over.
only by your bedroom TV. I immediately went cold.
Wait,
and
what
pale.
happened? What?
Is lit only by 1 a.m.
1
I
a.m.
got an unknown message that said, I like that your house is lit only by your bedroom TV. I immediately went cold and pale. I paused the TV and heard rustling outside my window. My room was on the second floor. I shut my phone and listened. Slowly, I peeked through the blinds and saw the man smiling with a gun pointed at my window. I screamed and pulled away as glass shattered everywhere across my room.
That's crazy.
My parents ran in, followed by Kate. I screamed for them to crouch and told them the man was outside with a gun. When my dad went to check, the man was gone. Then we heard another loud bang and more glass breaking downstairs in the kitchen. We ran and locked the bedroom as Kate called 911. My mom hugged us as we cried in fear. Throughout the whole situation, I kept wondering how he knew where we lived. A few moments later, the police arrived and searched the whole house, but nobody was there. Kate and I explained the situation again, and one of the officers said they should check the car. Surprisingly, a small air tag was found on my tire, which explained how the man knew where we lived and why he crouched
Wait, how did he even get it in their tire?
before I sped out of the woods. The police told us they would patrol the streets and do everything they could to find the man. A few months later, he still hadn't been found, but he never returned, which I hope it stays that way. Me, Kate, and my parents are still traumatized by the situation, but mostly I felt stupid as the older sister for not being alarmed when the person didn't respond to calls and only responded through texts. All I know...
And walked all the way to the man when you shouted his name, and then walked up to him and took the hood off. Walked into arm's distance. Like what? The whole scenario is just weird. Again, though, context does matter because, I mean, they acted like their dad usually does that, you know? They act like their dad usually asks them to bring lunch into the forest. So, it really depends on the context. Does their father actually do that? Because if so, he's retarded. But if it's like the first time he's ever asked that, then the daughter's retarded. But if the dad has done it before, then it's the father's fault. I blame the father for giving such pattern recognition to their daughters to do that dumb stuff. You know? So it really depends on the context, obviously. I would blame the father 100% if he is the one that put the pattern recognition into his daughters that gives them the false illusion of safety and bringing him food to the middle of the forest. Like what? Why? Why would you even do that? But if it was like a first time thing ever, then it's the daughter's fault. It's like the first time. Well, father usually doesn't ask us to go in the middle of the forest and give him food. You know? So it really depends on the context there. I don't know how the AirTag got in there, but I'm assuming that when they walked away, the man like somehow got the AirTag in there.
Careful and never go to secluded places again, especially when I'm responsible for someone else's safety.
It depends on the context. Was it pattern recognition that made you feel comfortable doing it? Like what? Story 3, last one. These are pretty good so far.
It was 2021. One word to describe my day: hectic. Work was a shit show. This was prime COVID time, so
Okay.
I was working from home. I was supposed to be meeting with my extended family upstate, and I ended up finally getting off a nearly 3-hour Zoom meeting for work a whole hour and a half after everyone else had already arrived at my parents' house. And that didn't include the next 2 hours or so the trek up to their house would take me. I filled up 2 cups of coffee in my kitchen to take with me before leaving.
Smart.
God knew I'd need them. The second I opened my front door, I realized this drive would be more of a shit show than I had originally thought. The snow and wind had already picked up since earlier that evening, and the streets were barely even plowed. The ground had at least 2 feet of snow already, and it was supposed to snow like this for a majority of the night. I had to be driving under 25 on most residential roads. My car at the time was also a really old, crappy Hyundai, which wasn't ideal for extreme weather conditions at all. It didn't have anti-lock brakes either. I'm a fast driver though, so when I got on the highway, I raised my speed to 70, which was probably a lot faster than safe for the conditions. I finally arrived at my parents' house around 9. They had begun dinner without me, but thankfully weren't too far along. A few drinks and gift sharing later, I started to lose track of time. I got so caught up in seeing my relatives I hadn't spoken to in a while that I ended up basically forgetting I still have to drive home, even as most of my family had started to leave. Once I finally got in my car to leave, it was past midnight, and at least another foot of snow had accumulated on the ground.
Hey, Ma, Dad. I'ma just stay on the couch for tonight. You know, had a long day at work, 2 coffees to drive here, it's snowing, and yeah, I'm just sleeping here. Like, what? Just sleep on the couch. It's like past midnight. What am I gonna do? Get home, spend another 2 hours to drive home, 3 a.m., sleep for like, what? I don't know how long this dude sleeps for, but just stay at the house, no? It's your mother and father. Who stays until past midnight anyways?
I was buzzed, but I figured I was sober enough to drive home.
Hold on, you're drinking as well, GG?
I condone drinking and driving at all. I was tired and simply wanted to get home. As I was heading towards the highway, I realized the roads were completely dead. I made the grave mistake of raising my speed to 40 down one particular road, because as I began to approach a bend in the road, I realized my car had gone into a skid. I tried not to panic, as this wasn't the first time I'd skidded. I started to steer into the skid and downshifted, but as I got even closer to the curve, and my car still wasn't slowing down, I started to panic. My car went straight off the side of the road and into a tree, and the airbag deployed.
Skill issue.
I was momentarily in shock from the force of the impact, but thankfully, I was relatively unscathed. My car was ruined though. The whole hood was buried in a bank of snow surrounding the tree I hit. No chance I was pushing it back onto the road or anything like that.
Yeah, call for help.
The first thing I did was phone my roadside assistance company, and they said they'd send a truck to my location, but because of the horrible conditions, it could take up to 40 minutes for the truck to reach me. I was on a deserted road surrounded by forest and no houses for miles in either direction, so I decided to also call my parents
Smart.
and ask one of them to drive over and wait with me. My dad said he'd get in his car and drive over, so then I hung up and waited. As I was sitting there, I began to hear something over the sound of the wind howling outside. There were undeniably footsteps in the snow. I couldn't tell exactly from where, but they sounded somewhat distant. I opened the driver's side door and stepped out, looking over the roof of my car. I wasn't hearing footsteps anymore. Instead, I was hearing some new sounds. It was kind of hard to describe, but it sounded like some kind of wet slurping. I looked over to where I thought the sound was coming from, and I could see some movement by the tree line. It was dark as hell though, but I was pretty certain I was looking at a person. I called out, "Hello?" The sound stopped, but no one called back. I sat there for a few more seconds awkwardly, but no one ever responded or appeared to me. I couldn't see any more movement either. I was officially freaked out, so I got back in my car and locked the doors.
Smart. Wait.
What couldn't have been a whole minute later.
What would you do in that situation? You crash in the middle of nowhere and it's snowing. That's a tricky. I mean, you did the right things already. You called tow truck company, kind of. Tow truck company, which I'm assuming might be insurance as well. Then you called your father, you called your parents, smart, so... Yeah. I mean, you could blame the storyteller and say like, why'd you drive, right? But honestly, it was a skill issue. That's their fault. Skill issue right there. Hey, could have just slowed down in the turn and, you know, did a little drift. But skill issue. It is what it is. Now you hear some creature or human nearby, GG. And there's no houses nearby. There's no... Yeah, it's a bit of an unfortunate situation right there. Not really anyone else to blame except skill issue.
I heard footsteps in the snow again outside. Then I heard something hitting the passenger side window, like a rock or something was thrown at it.
Hey!
I couldn't see out the passenger side window because it was covered in snow,
GG.
or any of the windows for that matter.
Oh my goodness.
Once again, I opened the driver's side door and stepped out of my car.
Yeah, scrap.
Checking my immediate surroundings, I made a disturbing discovery.
A man.
There were boot prints in the snow, circling all around my car, and then leading away from my passenger side door into the woods. I felt sick to my stomach. I also noticed there were drops of blood in the snow.
GG. That's even
I
worse.
opened my driver's side door, and then grabbed my 9mm out of the glove
Hold on now. That changed the whole situation.
compartment.
Yo, you got...
Clutching it in my right hand, I began to follow the prints leading into the woods.
Oh, hold on now. Yo, chill out. You don't need to go follow them. Just defend the car with your gun. No need to follow. Because you don't know the woods. You might get lost. Stay near the car. Don't do it. But you got a gun though. That's good.
At that moment, I was convinced someone out there was with me. As I followed the prints, the drops of blood began to grow larger. It looked like someone had been bleeding profusely. And then, I saw some dark mass lying in the snow just past the tree line. I couldn't tell what it was. I was just praying it wasn't a person. I took out my phone and enabled the flashlight. It wasn't a person.
There's a deer.
It was a dead deer, seemingly slaughtered by some larger predatory animal. The stomach was ripped completely open, and shockingly, the deer had been completely decapitated. I swept the flashlight over the surrounding few feet, but I didn't see the head anywhere. I decided this was getting too weird for me, and I started heading back to my car. I got back to my car and opened the driver's side door, and as soon as I did, it was all I could do to keep myself from vomiting on the spot.
The head's in the car.
On the driver's side seat of my car was the severed head of a deer, placed on the seat as if it was looking
How did you walk that far away from your car to not notice someone go to your car, open it? Did you leave the car unlocked? How far did you walk away from your car? You have a gun, just stay there and bam bam. I don't know.
At me. I booked it out of there and made it a few minutes down the road before headlights appeared in the distance. I ran towards the car, waving my hands and shouting like a madman, still holding my handgun.
Bro, who's gonna pick you up? Ain't nobody gonna pick you up. It's gonna be like a reverse horror story. Yo, I was driving and there was a guy with a gun. He was gonna rob me or something.
Thankfully, it was my dad.
Okay.
And he stopped the car and asked me what the hell I was doing. I got in the passenger seat and explained everything to him.
Go back home.
And I kid you not, he literally didn't believe me. I felt more comfortable going back to my car with my dad now, so he drove the two of us over there and we got out.
Well, no, hold on now.
Footprints were still all around my car, but the deer head was gone.
For the blood?
All that remained was a large spot of blood on my driver's side seat. I think once my dad saw that, he started to believe me. The deer corpse was also gone. All that remained were drag marks in the snow. The tow truck finally showed up, and he towed my car. My dad asked me if I wanted to call the police, but honestly, I just didn't have the energy to file a police report. I was exhausted and just wanted to go to sleep. I figured calling the police wouldn't accomplish jack anyways. So that's my story. I have no idea.
Can you imagine like another story POV? Driving down the side of the road and then there's a madman waving at you, but he has a gun and that's like a whole nother horror story. Alright, let's analyze the comments and see what's up. Story 3, a series of totable, yep, real. Why would you leave your parents' house buzzed? A 2-hour drive on a shitty car on Christmas night? Facts. True, that's what I said. Story 3, you could just stay at your parents' house. Story 3, bro was at his house and could have just stayed the night, but he chose to drive in bad weather and conditions while drunk. True. Hearing about a dog licking a person's hand goes to the old people can lick too. What? Story 3, yeah, facts. I mean, no, you can blame the guy for leaving, but I think it's just a skill issue in driving, honestly. Just get better at driving. Yeah. First story, someone who does the sensible thing from the outset. What parents let the sun out the house in the middle of the night during a snowstorm, except for emergency? Also, you can see footprints of snow and blood in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, literally, like, why would you follow the footprints as well? Or just stay there and, yeah. Story 2, I always have people call. Okay. Right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for Mr. Nightmare. We could do more, but that's already like that's already like 40, 30 minutes of Mr. Nightmare. So, three winter stories. Third one was just a skill issue. Second one, it's either the father's fault for applying pattern recognition to his daughters, or it's the daughter's fault for not being perspicacious enough to identify that is something out of the ordinary that their father does. The first story is missing context. Like, what do you mean by communicate? Like, you said you tried to communicate, but you failed. Like, what? And then you didn't check behind you on like how, if they followed you or not. Yeah, that first story though is annoying though. It's like, communicate how? What'd you say? Did they speak English or French? Then how did you not notice them following behind you? And then second story again, pattern recognition. It really depends on the context of how their family works and how that dad acts. You know, how the dad acts around his daughters and how the daughters act. And the third story is just a skill issue. Could have just made a home. I mean, like I said, third story is literally just skill issue though, right? He made most of the right calls except following the trail of blood away from the car, kind of. So that's pretty bad. But, I mean, you know, call a tow truck, call your parents, you're strapped, you know? So, yep, so that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I told you I gave my word that I'll do a Mr. Nightmare video today. Don't think I have time for ARK. No, I do not have time for ARK. And actually, to end this video off, something interesting I'm noticing like right now is like my legs right now. If I try like run, I don't think I actually can run right now. Like my right ankle's kind of in pain if I like try move it fast, and left side is okay, but the calf's a bit pulled. And yeah, so kind of, I'm not sure if we actually can run tomorrow, but I'll see how it goes. Just gotta get some good sleep. The bed's fixed as well, and everything. So yeah, appreciate y'all for just chilling around. See you guys next time, alright? Bye bye.